Hey guys, what it is yo girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life prison wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice. Hoping, because you got to hold your breath for justice. To see justice before all face to bleak is it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, guys, I am coming through today, October the 13th, 2025. Yes, I am coming through right before I hang out with my little family and such. I was up at the library making sure I get my to-do list done if possible. But before I make it to my families, I have to make sure to record my content. Hold on, girl. It is hot. It is hot in this car. Let me let this window down. I literally got the air conditioner on barely, like the lowest level, and it is like scorching hot because it makes noise. You already hear the rumbling from the car. Please excuse me, girl, but I'm trying to do my content and I'm trying to do the best that I can with what I got in my hand. Moses, what you got in your hand? So in my hand, I got a phone. I got a hand that's going to bed because I got carpal tunnels. I got a car that's rumbly, needs a tune-up and brakes. But I'm still here in this car bringing this content to you using what I got in my hand. But anyways, I wanted to tell y'all the testimony that is actually inspired by Miss Wisdom Speaks Life. I have been listening to her heavily. God led her to start telling her personal testimonies. Now my hands scorch out. This is crazy. But my hand boiling from the sun. But anyways, she was led by the Holy Spirit to start telling her testimonies. And through telling her testimonies, it is basically making her testimonies when she tells you that the Lord will get you through, like just it gives it so much more meat behind her testimony. It's not just someone saying those cliche words that could become cliche, though they are true. They're very much true, but they start to become cliche to a person that has heard it so much, but they just and it feels like the person you're hearing it from ain't never been where you been, girl. They ain't never been down there in that little ditch as deep as you've been in that ditch, right? Hold on. But when a person shares with you their testimony, like unedited, like undeleted, not the final cut testimony, when they tell you that pure raw testimony, that is when you see yourself in that testimony. And that is when you take on the mindset that, oh my gosh, like literally you've been in this pit that I've been in. And okay, if you got out of this pit, I definitely can too. So I was inspired to tell the story because she just told the testimony of almost becoming a stripper. And I was looking at her comments from that, and other people were like, yeah, that was almost me too, girl. And one of those comments was from your girl. Yes, me myself almost became a stripper, which is crazy. Right? Now it is kind of very popularized and a lot of people go down that route, but in my time it was like 2001. Yeah, I already know what it stems back to, girl. Right, most of the struggles and trials of my life started with my husband's wrongful arrest and then wrongful incarceration. So I was 20, right? I had finally, after all the stuff I've been through, finally found that one that loved me for me, right? the love of my life. And 2 months after having our daughter and experiencing such joy. And right now I'm ignoring his call because he's calling me. But I need to finish this testimony. He'll call back again. He usually calls twice in a row. And then if I don't answer, he'll call back a couple hours later. So that would be perfect anyway, because we'll be out and about with my daughter and grandchildren. So he could talk to all of us together at the same time. But the best. It seemed like life couldn't get no more perfect, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm 20 and I got everything in life I need. Like, for real. Like, I finally got that love. I always wanted love from my family. Never quite. My family gave us that dysfunctional love, even though it's still love, but it was with a lot of dysfunction. So to finally feel like you got pure love just for who you are, and then it be snatched. Like, think of getting the best thing in life. Like, say you won the lottery. I don't know, what is it that you want more than anything in this life? Like, in this life, I'm not talking about for eternity. I'm talking about while you're here as a human in flesh and blood, right? What is it that you want the most out of this life? That one thing, and then you get it. And as soon as you get it, it's ripped back from you. It's like, almost like, why couldn't you just keep it? Why give it to me if you're going to take it away? Like, that is crazy. It seems more cruel. It's almost like giving a baby some food and then snatching it once he put it in his mouth, taking it and snatching it out of his mouth. Like, that's... And now that baby wants what it didn't even want before because it didn't have it before. But now that it has it, it's like, I need that. So to have him snatched out of my life, and y'all know, due to wrongful incarceration, whether y'all want to believe it or not, I can't help what you believe. Wrongful convictions happen all the time. They're happening now. If there's a court, well, I don't know because they're a little shut down. But if there is a court, which we should pray for everyone that is going through any type of trial, any type of case, anything dealing with the courts, plead the blood of Jesus over each of them and each case. See, they deal with them case numbers as random numbers. God deals with you as your individual. You're his creation that he loves. So he deals with you. God's justice, which I say a lot on here, is completely the opposite of man's justice. So may God be with anybody dealing with this system at this time. I dealt with that monster 20-something years ago, and it tore my family to shreds. It didn't delete us, but it tore us to shreds. And we're here now trying to pick up the pieces of our family. I got a rap for that. Trying to put the pieces of my family back together. To get them back, man, I'ma do whatever. Because I made this vow that I would stay with him forever. And I ain't gonna stop until the moment we together. Here's your girl Cadillac. But because they took my husband, like dismantled our family, allegedly. We were a full family. Y'all know how they say BLK men don't take care of their kids and don't stay in their families, and they have families all over the place. We were a full functioning family together until they dismantled it. So you would think if somehow, because they blame it all on us, it's our fault, right? So if you did have some functioning BLK families, wouldn't you at least you know how they protect the endangered animals, right? So if this is such a non-norm, why would you dismantle and destroy the ones that actually were, like, they missed all those things that broke other families apart, right? And they actually were staying together, and the husband, the man, the BLK man that they want you to believe ain't nothing, actually was something and was taking care of his child and his wife and his responsibilities. Like that, since that's such an endangered thing to happen, why wouldn't you protect it? They put animals on endangered species list. But when it comes to our families, allegedly, they're like, okay, well, let's just destroy the ones that make it through these obstacles. So I knew I gotta get my family back together. Like, this is just a hiccup. And I have a lawyer. This is when $5.15 was the minimum wage, which the minimum wage still ain't much. It ain't a livable wage at all, but it's not even much than it was then, when everything has skyrocketed and it's times way more for way less in this day and age. But they still got that minimum wage way down, right? Makes total sense. And then they blame us, allegedly, as to why we can't get it together. Girl, every time we get it together, you dismantle it, allegedly. So, I mean, it's like coming through. Every time I build my Lego castle, you come through and stomp it down. Every time I build my castle of cards, you come through with a fan blowing through, saying, you should have just did that. You should have just did this. And I'm like, every time I put 2 cards together, you'll blow my house down. Sorry, I had to turn the AC on, so noise. But all of this is alleged, and this is all for entertainment. Our pain is for entertainment purposes only. But I made $5.15 an hour, brought home a little over $100 a week, and I was told by a lawyer that they could get him home, but it's gonna cost $10,000. So how long would it take you making $5.15 an hour to make $10,000? Because that's how much the case cost to fight for Marcello's life. Which, if it was true justice, why do I have to pay you to fight? If I'm innocent, why does innocence come with a big hefty price tag? Being declared innocent, why does it come with this big hefty price tag that you already know I don't have, allegedly? Think about that. This is for my critical thinkers, not for y'all that just make assumptions off rip. So I'm like, I gotta get up 10,000, girl. I got to figure this out. So I'm like, well, how can I get $10,000 quickly? I'm not in the streets, so I can't do what they put in our neighborhoods to, once they take allegedly our resources, then they put that in our neighborhoods and make that as a supplemental way to make money, right? And then they turn around and then they fuel another alleged business from that they gave us as the alternative. That's why the opposite of your crime rate is not incarceration. It's actually resources, education, and prevention, allegedly. But I'm not that. They used to call them D-boys. I'm not a D-boy. So where am I going to get these type of funds that are way out of my reach as a 20-year-old now single mother, because you dismantled and destroyed my family, all to keep the neighborhood safe, allegedly. So the next thing, I'm like, well, what else do I have? What assets do I have? Right then, your girl was really cute. I still got a little cute little smile, girl. I know my eyebrows all over the place and need to be done and all of this. Got me some little blemishes, but girl, back then, your girl was, girl, I was breaking hearts all left and right. Had the body, had everything. So I was like, those are my assets. So I got to, like they said in Players Club, you got to use what you got to get what you want, girl. And back in the 90s, I think everybody kind of related to Diamond, which was Lisa Ray from Players Club. Everybody loved that character and really related to that character. And he gave strippers basically like it was a a higher mantle than given to strippers, because that's when people, that movie made people understand that there's two type of strippers. There's one that's there, you know, because of certain reasons, and then there's one that's there because it's a stepping stone to get to where they're really trying to get to, and they don't have these other resources, so they have to do what they have to do. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna strip. I know I can't do this. I know it was not in me. I was raised in a church. That was nothing that, and I could just see my mama finding this out. And then, because I really never could live up to their standards, no matter my parents, no matter how hard I tried, I could never live up to their standards. And, you know, so that would just, that was gonna be where they were gonna be like, well, this is how Keita is anyway. We never, you know, I wish they really knew my real heart and who I really am. But I think my mother towards the end of her life did kind of start understanding me and seeing me. It did feel like she actually seen me for me. So I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do this, even though it wasn't in me to do it. I went out and bought all these. Now then, I did used to dress scantily clad, so girl, but I had the body for it, girl, back then. But yeah, my dress was kind of, you know, it was like I just could not. And there's a story behind that too, of why I used to dress that way. But it wasn't much of a difference, girl. I was already in them heels and stuff like that, and already dressed like scantily clad and all of that. So like for women now that see the young girls that are dressed like that, rather than just judging them, actually pray for them, actually try to, like, where are they coming from? What is it? Because nobody asked me ever, like, why you're doing the things that you're doing. Is there something else behind it? You know, nobody, it's like people don't care. They just want to judge you. Just judge. They want to be the judge, the jury, and everything else. But what they don't want to do is love and lead you and guide you and be that, you know. So I'm like, okay, I could do this. So I got my little wardrobe. So I had to get the little fairy bras and such, and I had to get the little clear stripper heels, like Missy said, the little clear plastic pumps for the after party. Had to get those. Back then they had them shoes that would wrap around your leg, had the little 2 drawstrings that wrap around your leg, girl. So I always could dance, basically. I always had rhythm. I can't dance, but girl, I can move to the music. I knew how to, because that was my clubbing days and stuff like that. So definitely I visually could have fit as a stripper, but the mental, I could not gather myself to do it. So I called up, I went and got my plastic heels for the after party, got my furry bras and stuff, and then I would practice in front of this long mirror, and I'm like, I'm killing it. I'm literally killing these moves. I'm killing these heels. I'm getting, girl, like for real, like 10 grand finna be just raining from the ceiling on me, girl. And then once I got the monies, then my husband gets his lawyer. We're back together as a family, and that is a figment of my imagination because it happened so long ago that I don't even remember that it happened, girl. So I call up the club and I'm like, I was interested in being a stripper. I wanted to, like, what do I have to do? So the guy is like, okay, you're gonna have to come in and do basically it is a interview where you are dancing. So you have to audition. That's the word I'm looking for. You're gonna have to audition in person. So I'm like, okay, I could do it. I got my little furry heels on, and I'm doing all the little moves, girl. And that's when Cadillac, my name Cadillac, came from my grandma, because she was saying that you have so much junk in the trunk that it looks like an old school Cadillac. You know how the old school Cadillac had the long back? That's where that name came from, and she used to call me Cadillac. So I would say that, you know, she passed. in the 90s, late 90s, and I was like, if I ever am an artist of any sort, I'm going to use that name Cadillac. So I changed it from Cadillac because everybody was named Cadillac, and I just broke it to Cad, K-A-D, because my name starts with a K, so I thought that was cute. And then Lac, L-A-C. Cadillac, K-A-D-L-A-C. The hottest female rapper is who I be, and I could come close to me. You wanna try? Put your deuce, let me see. So I'm like, okay, got my routine. I got on my outfit. I go down to the club, and I can't go in. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Keita, you could do this. You could do this. It's 10 grand. Marcello will be home after you do this. Like, you so could do this. Like, girl, just go in there. Just forget about what's going on. You don't even see them folks. And I couldn't do it. I just circled the club, and I went home. And I'm like, oh, Keita, why couldn't you do it? And I'm going back. I'm in the mirror. I'm dancing. See, Keita, you so could have did that. Look what you did. You just did it. You Cadillac. You could do this, girl. And I would try to go down there again, and I would just circle the club and come home. like literally, I could not bring myself to get out the car, park the car, get out, go in, and audition. And later I was like, you know what, just forget it. That's not gonna work. And that's when I had said, okay, I'm gonna be a cosmetologist. Like, for real, because I was like, I can't bring myself to do this. But it is a part two to that, because somebody did tell my mom that I wanted to be a stripper, and then that's when it was like all jail broke loose. And I further was not able to please them, because they just at that time thought the worst of me. I'm already the one that's with a prisoner, like, girl, and then now I want to be a stripper. Like, come on, Keita, this is not how we raised you. But yeah, so that's my story of almost becoming a stripper. And then I'm like, what if I had went in? Like, literally, I mean, because things are scary, but once you get over that hurdle, you're over it and you're out there doing it, right? And the one thing, a lot of people would calm their nerves, and Wisdom Speak Truth said that same thing, that she would drink, or and she wasn't even a drinker. And that's the truth for me. I've never drank, never smoked. So a lot of people would do those things to calm their nerves, to be able to get up there and do what they had to do, you know, just to get by. And I could not do that. And I don't drink and I don't smoke, never have. So I can't bring myself like out of my head. I can't get out of my head long enough to do this. So I just feel like it's just God just keeping you out of certain situations, because who knows what those situations, just being in that environment, could have turned to. Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm just trying to get 10 grand and go. But what if I had to walk through that door and did it? And where could my life have went? Because every intricate piece of your life, if you take one piece out, or you change one piece but put it in, it changes the direction of your life. All right, guys. With that said, and then, oh, one last thing, like, y'all gonna have to leave Miss Wisdom Speaks Life alone. I'm telling you right now, y'all gonna have to leave her alone, because God has her telling her testimony. I know y'all are holier than thou, because the holier than thous are the ones that come past my channel. When anybody bears their soul and puts their content on YouTube, TikTok, wherever, when they do that, there are downfalls to putting yourself out there, right? But it also is, and the downfalls are for you. You have to experience those downfalls. But you're doing it in order to touch somebody else, to reach somebody else, to change somebody else's mind, to make them feel like, baby, you ain't no worse than I was. If God can help me and get me out of this, he can get you out of this. So it is for the betterment of somebody, and you come in interjecting. And a lot of times that diverts the person that is doing God's will, telling those stories. It diverts them from doing it because of the backlash you're giving. So if she has boldness, it's bold to put yourself out here. Just like me, I get those people with just saying I'm a prison wife. It's almost like attack on sight. Attack on sight. You stupid, you dumb, you can't find nobody free, so you're desperate, when I'm none of the above. But though I know I'm getting that I'm going to get that feedback, I put my story out there anyway, because there's some other prison wife out there. There's someone else going through what I'm going through. There's somebody else whose husband has just been wrongfully incarcerated. Because I know it is, because we ain't reformed this system, and we don't care to reform it because it hasn't touched our home yet. Just like I say with Jason, we ain't seen that monster behind that mask yet. But when God lets you go through certain things so that when you come out, you can guide other people out, right? Not everybody relates to that perfect testimony. All right, guys, I gotta go. I told my daughters it's 3:33, but I told my daughter I'll be back by 3 o'clock, so we're close enough, right? All right, hiss your girl Cadillac.